Well, hey folks, welcome to the Blacksmith Order. My name's Vieyra, and I'm the host and the founder of the Blacksmith Order, where we're simply just committed to learning, loving, and leading. It's about shaping leaders who might feel like they're kind of in the thick of it. They're in the fire, and we talk about being forged in the fire. And so we want to encourage and equip leaders that maybe you're going through it. Maybe you've tried and failed. Maybe you're really struggling with whatever it is that you're leading in, whether you're leading a family, you're leading a business, you're a leader in your community. We want to help empower and equip you to be the best leader that God's called you to be and designed you to be. First, I want to say thanks for being patient. We've taken a little bit of break. I've had to adjust my schedule a little bit. I've been working also on really just putting together better content, shorter content, so we don't have such long podcasts. And so just been working on some new gear and some new content. And so anyways, tonight I want to talk to you about trusting God when bad things keep happening. This was a question from one of our subscribers. You know, how do I grow? How do I continue to trust God when it seems like bad things keep happening to me? When I keep facing trouble and trial and difficulty, how do I trust God when all this stuff seems to be happening? And so I think it's a common question. I think a lot of people experience that. I think a lot of people find themselves at breaking points and want to quit. Sometimes people find themselves in this situation where it's like, man, it feels like maybe God's doing it to you, and like, why is he punishing me, kind of thing. And so I want to just kind of give you a couple of points, a couple of tips, and encourage you. Number one is I think we got to ask, am I responsible for some of this stuff? I think sometimes we have to start there and ask ourselves, what role am I playing in some of the bad stuff seemingly that keeps happening to me? If we can eliminate this one, then we can move on. Because I think sometimes we often get to a place where, you know, we just decide, well, I want to do things my way. I'm gonna make choices. I'm gonna lead my life without asking for wisdom, without seeking, you know, counsel and stuff, kind of doing my own thing. And that has consequences sometimes. You know, we make poor choices and we reap the consequences of that. You know, it's like saying the saying, if you play stupid games, you win stupid prizes sometimes. And unfortunately, sometimes the things that we do in our lives can eventually bring negative consequences. And so again, we got to ask, am I making poor choices? Am I making unwise choices? And that can be whatever. It could be financially. You know, if you keep spending recklessly, you're not setting goals, you're not living within the means, your income and that kind of stuff, then yeah, you're going to deplete your funds. If you're making poor relationship choices, you know, I call it, you know, your picker's broken. You keep picking the wrong people. You pick people that, you know, aren't in the same place as you, that they're going in a different direction. They have a different belief system. They have a different way of life. They have a different value system. And you keep making poor choices. And keep picking really unhealthy people that aren't gonna make you a better you. They're not gonna challenge you. They're not gonna, you know, cause you to grow. They're not gonna be there to be a comforter. They're not gonna be a help to you. Then you know, you're gonna continue to suffer the consequences of those poor relational choices. And it could be whatever. And so you have to, again, stop and ask, am I making poor choices? And are these bad things that are happening to me over and over again, do I own it? Is it my fault? And so you need to stop and go, you know what? Then I need to learn a better way. I need to allow some people to speak into my life, help me make better choices, different choices, you know, whatever it is. I mean, you think about it, this is what we do when it comes to health, you know, physical fitness. We allow people who know what they're doing, who have the results, that they can coach me, they can speak into my life, they can then show me how to do what they're doing to get the results they're getting. We need to be able to stop the destructive decisions that we're making in other areas of our life, and just like you would with a fitness trainer or somebody that's helping you with a diet or whatever, and look at those areas of your life and go, you know what, I need to change my habits, I need to change my choices, because ultimately it comes down to this, you know, I call it a law. It's just like gravity. It's called sowing and reaping. Whatsoever a man sows, that he will also reap. And so you just got to decide and really be honest with yourself. Is it because of my poor choices? The second thing you need to consider and remember is life, period, is full of changes. And I think that's a lot of the seemingly bad things that keep happening. Like, you start something new and then life changes and now you have to adjust. You have to change your job, you have to change your school, you have, some of you are at this, transition place relationally, having to change things, and that life stuff happens and then causes you to change direction, change your habits, some people change where they live, all these kind of things. I don't hang out with those friends anymore, and so I need to make a big change. And with that, it really comes grief. I mean, when you have those kind of moments, we grieve that change, and that's okay. Life is full of different seasons, and and sometimes we need to we need to be aware of it, but we need to be open to it, because without change, there's no growth. Think about it. A husband and wife, and they're like, we want to have a family, we want to grow. Well, then pregnancy comes, bodies change, hormones are happening. All this change, physical change, is happening in an anticipation of something that you're longing for, something you're wanting to build, something that you're wanting to love and nurture. There's gonna be change, and so life is full of those moments. Life is always going to be changing. It's the only thing that's really constant in life. And so we have to be open and we have to be willing to adjust and grow with those changes. Will it hurt? Yeah. Are we sad? Do we grieve that, I don't have this anymore, or I don't hang out with them anymore, I don't do these things? Yeah, but there are things ahead of you that I'm willing to bet are going to be far greater. Again, if we go back to, am I adjusting the poor choices I'm making better choices, then I believe life will lead you, and I believe God will lead you down a path of blessing and provision. And he describes this thing as an abundant life. It's not just heaven, but he has promises, he has resources that he wants to share, he wants to bless us, he wants to strengthen us with. And so just be open to change and look for it. It's an opportunity. We don't always embrace it, we don't always take it. The last point I want to make, I guess, is I'm going to call it flexing your trust muscles. How do I learn to trust God was the question. You trust God. And it sounds simple and it sounds really elementary, and I'm not trying to make fun, but you gotta flex those muscles, dude. I remember when I was in high school, I was like a sophomore in high school, and I've never been super athletic, right? I mean, I could do things, and I played baseball when I was a kid and stuff, but I've never been like super athletic. I don't love running. I still don't. I'm 41 years old. I don't like to run. Probably not going. I mean, you got to be something really scary to make me run, and I probably won't. I'll probably play dead or just fight to the death. I'm not super athletic, and so I remember asking my PE coach at that time, as Bert Esposito. I don't know if he listens, but I remember vividly. He was standing in the doorway of the workout room, and I'm like, "Hey, Coach Bert, I want to be a better runner. What tips do you have? What can you tell me? What can you show me that will help me be a better runner?" And he just looked at me and he goes, "Run. There are some things that you just have to do. And that growth won't come, and the understanding won't come, the lessons won't be learned until we trust, until we flex those muscles, until we endure those tough times." He says, endure hardship like a good soldier, and sometimes we have to wait out those seasons. We have to endure, we have to hang in there, we have to persevere, we have to not quit on ourselves, we have to not quit on our faith, we have to not quit on people, and we endure and we flex those trust muscles. I'm reminded of a verse. It's a pretty common verse. It gets quoted a lot. It gets misquoted a lot. It's Romans 8:28, and it says, it's the one where he says, all things work together for good for those who are called according to his purposes. But a lot of people stop short. A lot of people look at this verse and they misquote it, and they hang on to this, all things work together for good. No, they don't. That's not what it says at all. It doesn't just stop and say all things work together. No, it says all things work together for those who love God and who are called according to his purposes. And so what this thing tells me, what this verse tells me, is that, yeah, bad stuff's going to happen. Things are going to go wrong. Things aren't always going to work out the way that you planned and what you thought. But it says all things work together for good for those who love God and who are called according to his purposes. And so this idea is like, listen, when stuff goes wrong, when life takes a turn, when I'm struggling and I don't know what to do, one of the first things you need to do is go, how do I partner with God to work through this? And see, a lot of people just think, well, I'm just waiting for God to fix it. No, there is calling and loving God and according to his purposes that is kind of the clincher in this, and I think really the important ingredient in this verse, and we have to go back to that and go, you know what? Tough stuff's happening. You know, life is falling apart. Things are a little out of control right now. I'm struggling. I don't know what to do. I've made poor choices. How do I do this? You got to get to this place where you say, you know what, God, I'm going to work with you through this. Right? Because it's all about his ways. It's all about his calling. It's all about his purposes. And if you don't know what that is, you don't know, his character. You don't know what he is calling you to do. You don't know the adjustments that need to be made. You don't have a relationship with him. Then you're going to be in this spot where it's like, man, tough stuff keeps happening over and over again. There's no change. There's no growth. I don't know what to do. It's all, woe is me. And I think that's where it seems like, well, God's doing this stuff to you. Well, the problem is there's a disconnect. And so you got to get to this place where, you know what, God, tough stuff's happening, but you know what? I'm going to partner with you. I'm going to work with you to get through this. And it takes us back to step number one. Is there stuff I have to change? Do I need to stop making these poor choices and walk according to your ways and your word and trust you and grow more and more? You got to flex those trust muscles. You got to walk according to his ways. And listen, again, tough stuff's going to happen. We're going to grieve, but we don't have to do it alone. We're not stuck to just kind of, flounder around and struggle with life. He promises to never leave us, to never forsake us. He gives us a church to be a part of, people to glean from and learn from and walk with, and people that can encourage us and correct us and just be present with us during some of these troubles in life. Anyways, I hope this helps you trust God a little bit more. Life's going to happen. Things are going to keep moving, but there's an incredible opportunity for you to grow. There's an incredible opportunity for you to make course correction, to make adjustment, make better, wiser choices, God-honoring choices, and get through your trouble. My name's Jared Vieyra. This has been the Blacksmith Order. We'll see you next time.